Welcome, everybody, to another Titan Master session. And today we have again one of our favorite Titan Masters, Alex, as our guest. Hey, Alex, how are you?
Hi, Stefan. I'm really, really good. Thank you for having me again. Really happy to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, you're calling in all the way from Mexico,
I
so
am.
it's pretty early for you. While here in Europe, it's already 2 p.m. But today we're going to talk about brand strategy, right? Because you are our type master of branding. And we're going to talk specifically about finding the purpose of your brand and how you will actually do that. The process to get to that point that you actually can find a way to find a purpose and how it impacts your whole branding. So that's the topic of today, Alex. And I will bring up your slides and then it's all up to you.
Perfect. Okay, so welcome to this session today. It's about finding your brand's purpose. And before I start, I want to say that why every time I'm working with a new brand or with a brand who wants to do rebranding, why do we start with the purpose? I have found that many times when you do a branding session or a visual identity or anything to do with branding, some people forget about why they're doing what they're doing. So we want to go directly to the logo, to the type, to the colors, and all of that is important and it is part of it. But when you do not have a purpose, when you do not have like a strong foundation, those elements may not have the impact that we want. So saying this, I want to start with this quote that I love, and it's by Jeff Bezos, and it's your brand is what people say about your business when you're not in the room. So this is really important because we cannot be present all the time with all of our customers explaining what our business is, what our brand is about. So it is really important for us to have clarity in everything we do, in all of the touch points of our brand, in our communication, in our visual communication, all of this. So anyone who comes in contact with our brand knows exactly what we want to say, and there's no disconnection and there's no misunderstandings. So that is why this is really, really important. So the first thing you want to do, since we wanted to do this workshop like really that you could take action from the beginning. So the first thing you want to do in branding and in your brand strategy is define your objectives. So every time I start a brand strategy session, I work with my client to say, okay, what are your term objectives from 3 to 6 months, your midterm, which is 6 months to a year, and then long term from a year on. Now, this doesn't mean that all of these goals and objectives and everything are written in stone. They can be changing, and they should, since a brand is a living thing that evolves, that changes, because you have to be adapting to your clients' needs. But it is really important to know what you want to focus on. So don't try to choose everything. Don't just have clarity on what you want to achieve. So maybe in the beginning is brand awareness, maybe it is uh, having your team understand what you do so you can have a better inner communication, and that way you can communicate it better to your audience. Maybe it can be that you want to define and share your first product. And okay, so that depends a lot on what your industry is, on what your goals are, but it is really important to define them so that way you can work from your objective back and set a path on how to what's the first step you're going to take, what's the second step, what's the third step. So that's going to be easier for you to really make an impact and have a really a good business. No, now I want to talk about the golden circle. This is a really important concept that came Simon Sinek. Sinek came up with it in his book, Start with the Why. So I want to tell you how brands usually start. So, and businesses. So they say, okay, what are we selling? So we are selling cars, or we are selling, I don't know, coaching, or we are selling lamps, furniture. So they start with the what, no? But let me tell you what's the problem with starting with the what. Uh, so if you build your brand about around an object or a product, that can be a problem. Why? Because if that product doesn't work, then your business is not going to work. And if you build all of your branding and all of your strategy and everything around the what, and that is does not have the impact, and your target audience does not receive it the way you thought, then you're going to have to go back to the beginning, think of another what. You're going to waste energy, you're going to waste resources, you're going to waste time, and well, that's just going to not going to be really good for your business. So it is important to know obviously what you're selling, but I wouldn't recommend you to start building your brand around a product or a service. And I will tell you why in just a moment. Then we have the how. So the how is, for example, how are we gonna sell that product? How are we, so the services that we are gonna have to fix our clients, I don't know, pain points, or to help them to reach a certain level of pleasure, or any of this, like how we're gonna get our client from where they are to where we want to take them. So this is a little bit better. uh, I wouldn't start with this one either, but this one, knowing how, it's going to be really important in the process. But again, you cannot start with the how, because if that changes and you build everything on that, then you don't have a really strong foundation. So now we arrive to the why. And let me tell you what the why is. The why is why you're doing what you're doing. So, for example, you're coaching on business, no? And obviously, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, and I wouldn't say competition. There's a lot of people doing the same, giving the same service as you are. Um, so the only thing that makes you, one of the things that makes you different and that's gonna make you stand out, it's your purpose. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? So, for example, let's say that we are a business coach. So if we only focus on the what, so what do we do? Coaching sessions. Okay, there's, o sea, if the people didn't like that, then you're gonna have to rebuild your whole strategy. Then how? Okay, through sessions, through master classes, through this, through that. That's also important to know, but that's not impactful enough to sustain a brand. But on the other hand, when you start with the why, when you really find your purpose, your brand's purpose, let's say, um, and this is a part in the process with my clients that takes a little bit of time, because when I tell them, okay, why are you a coach? Oh, because, let's say their first answer is, because I want to help people achieve their goals. Okay, that's a good why, but that's not deep enough. That's on the surface. So that's why we have to ask again, okay, why do you want to help people scale their business? Oh, because I see that many of them have really good products, really good, I don't know, intentions, but they don't know how to get there, no? And then you ask why again. It's like, okay, and why do you want to help them get to where they are? Well, because I don't know. Because when I was starting out, I really would have liked that someone would have given me this information, because it would have helped me avoid so many, uh, I don't know, failures or learnings or whatever you want to call it. And then we go with the why again and the why again. This is about going deep. So it is said that when you ask why 7 times, you reach a level of depth that's going to help you really get to that important. Yeah, exactly. Keep asking why until you get to the core. Because when you get to the core, when you get to that really raw sensation of why, that's where you're going to be able to create this empathy with your clients. You're going to be able to connect on a more human level. And let's face it, that's what we need right now, because right now there's a lot of people selling, there's a lot, and there's also a lot of people buying. O sea, people want your help. They say people buy for two reasons: to avoid pain or to get pleasure. But 95% of the time, they do it to avoid pain. So if your why is connected to a pain, that, for example, in the coaching, business coaching, your why is because I don't want anyone to suffer, I don't know, bankruptcy or like being in debt, because in the first years I was in debt. I couldn't, I wasn't calm. I wasn't at peace. So that's what I want to communicate. Then there you have something that you can build a brand about. It doesn't mean that you're going to talk about it all the time, but your communication, your visual identity, your offers, your services, they're going to be, instead of saying, okay, I'm a business coach and I'm going to help you get your results. Okay, how many times have you heard that? You know? But when you say, like, are you tired of, I don't know, of being broke and not getting your business to where you want, because you don't have the tools, then that connects with a certain uh crowd and a certain group of people that are going through what you went. And then you also become an expert. You also become someone who lived through what they are living. And that makes them trust you more. That makes them be more, let's say, connected to you. And that way, when they trust you, they are going to buy from you, and they are going to need your help, and they are going to want to hear from you, you know? So then, and the good thing about knowing your purpose is that if your why is super strong and you have a really strong foundation, the how and the what can change. So, for example, if you have a service about, I don't know, finance or about entrepreneurship or about time management, and that doesn't work, it doesn't matter, because you're not building your brand around that service or that product or how you do it or anything. You're building it from a purpose that it can change anything. Then maybe you're in 5 years, 10 years, you don't want to do coaching anymore, but you want to do events, or you want to do, I don't know, like you want to be a speaker, or you want to do, I don't know, an e-commerce with courses that help them with the same subject and the same why. Then you don't have to rebrand. You don't have to change your whole business plan, because in the end, your purpose is the same, you know? So that's going to be easier for you to replicate, to scale, because that way you're going to have clarity on what you tell to your employees when you're growing your business, because it is easier to make them feel what they're feeling, like what they are selling, because in the end, what we want is to connect with people, either with our team, with our ideal clients on a deeper level, because that way they're gonna be the ones that do the selling for us. You know, we're not gonna have to find every time a new client, and for us entrepreneurs, we know that finding a new client is super super hard. So when you focus on a what or on a how or something like this, then you limit yourself to only being able to give them what that is, o sea, that product, that service. But when you focus on the why, then you can be innovating, you can be creating new things to take them to the next level. Why? Because you want them to get to the best level possibly with your products, because a repeat client and someone that you give a really good service to, a really good, um I don't know, when they see results with you, they are going to want more, because you are giving them what you promised. So that's why this is super important. And in the end, what we want is loyalty, and loyalty is a feeling. You do not connect with, I don't know, a course. You do not connect with car. You do not connect with that. You connect with the feeling that it gives you. You connect with the feeling of belonging to a community, to someone, or to being heard by someone. So we really have to work on this loyalty. We really have to work on this brand, like placing our brand in a place that people connect with it on a deeper and more human level. And I want to add this new, let's say, concept to the golden circle, which is the who. Um, why is it important to know who you are selling to? So now we have our why, we have our purpose, then we have our how. How are we going to take them to where they want to go? And then we have the what. So what is that product or what is that end service that we are going to give to them? And then we have the who. Who are you selling to? That this is really, really important because now, like I said before, we have so much information, so much going on everywhere all the time that we want to connect with the person that we want to talk to. So we want to talk to them in the language that they speak. And I'm not speaking about English, Spanish, Dutch. No, I'm talking about how do they communicate visually? How do they communicate? Are they looking for someone who has more authority? Are they looking for someone who has a little bit of humor? O sea, we really need to know how the information gets to them and how they understand it better. Why? Because we don't want to think. People don't want to think. People don't want to be challenged in a first instance. They don't want to made be made. They don't want to feel like they don't understand. They don't want to feel stupid. So we have to do it in a way that's easier for them to understand. Why? Because the attention span that we have right now, it's really, really small. So if you make someone think in the first contact, then probably they're not gonna stay. um, I've I've had some clients that come to me, for example, when we're doing this strategy, and I'm like, okay, what I always ask them, what's a brand or look and feel that you think that you want for this brand, no? And they say, okay, I had this jewelry store that I was working with, and they told me, okay, I really, I like sober colors, like I like really nude colors. And I was like, okay, perfect, we can keep it, and then we can explore that. And then when we started looking at who they wanted to sell, who their ideal clients were, I asked them to look for inspiration. I asked them to look for Instagram profiles that looked from the people that they wanted to sell to. And we came up that all of them had something in common. Their feed, the way they used to communicate, it was like really electric, really colorful, really calling. So why I do this is because I want them to see that although it is important what you like and what you want for your brand, because in the end it's your brand and you have to connect with it as well, but you also have to connect with them. You are not selling to yourself, you're selling to them. So you have to make them in a way that it feels familiar to them. And also, who is also important to know, where do they get their news? What apps are they spending time on? What are their hobbies? O sea, you have to know them like they're your best friend, because that way you're going to have like a lot more tools to communicate in an impactful way. And this way you're also going to be able to replicate it. Like you're going to be able to, you're not going to be forced to be there at every step of the way of everything that is done in your business, because you're going to have a clear foundation, a clear set of guidelines, a clear everything for your team to understand what you're saying, who you're saying to, and then they can create from there, because in that way you can really scale your business. So having these concepts really, really studied, um, really clear is really important. Uh, Not enough business owners think about this when creating the brand, which means they lose a lot of opportunities and money. Exactly. You have to take time. I know when we want to create a brand, we want everything fast, we want everything super. I don't know, like I want it in a week, I want it in a month, and it can be done. It can be, if you have clarity, if you know your business, if you're open to work, it can be done. But for example, right now I'm coming from organizing an event, a summit for women, and this part of the brand creation, of the brand strategy, it took like 4 months because we really wanted to get it right. We really wanted to get the foundation right, because that's how we were going to build everything. And it was long, it was really there was a lot of work. But then 9 months later, when we created the event, when we had all of the speakers, when we had all of the, like everything, it all made sense. It connected with people, it made people understand what we wanted to say. So all of that time, it wasn't spent, it was invested. So don't rush this process. Like, doesn't matter if you, because all of the other things that come after, like the visual identity, the marketing, all of this is connected to this. And when you have this part of the strategy really clear, then it's going to be easier to do the whole other thing. Like, all of the other things are just going to be a representation of all the work that you already did. So this is why this is important. And your purpose and your goals have to be aligned. This is really, really crucial to your brand success. What you think has to equal what you say and what you do. I think more and more brands cannot lie anymore. People cannot lie anymore. Why? Because we are really, really connected. And if you slip up a little bit and you lose that confidence, if you lose that trust from your clients, it's going to be really hard for you to get it back. So it's easier to just have your purpose and have it be something authentic, because that's going to be something that's going to come to you without thinking. Don't try to be someone else, because also that's what, o sea, you and your team and whoever you're building your business with, that's what makes your business special. Because everything has been, well, almost everything has been invented. Everything is already out there in the market, but you know what's not out there? You, or your team, or the synergy you create, or the, I don't know, the way that you connect with people. So when you make it when you make it your purpose and you make it genuine, you are aligned in everything you do, everything you think, and everything you say. It's going to be easier for people to, and for your ideal client to resonate with you, to be able to connect with you. Why? Because in all of your touch points of your brand, in all of the things that you do on your brand, you're going to have the same message, and it's going to be clear, and it's going to be really impactful. So people are gonna be able to see maybe one of your posts, and they're gonna know it's about you because the message you're conveying. There, you're not gonna have to be all the time saying, "Hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here." No, because everything you're doing is creating this space in their minds that is going to be able to connect with them on a deeper level. So this is really important. Align what you think, what you say, and what you do in every touch point. And if you promise something, you better deliver it. It's better to not even under promise and over deliver. It's just whatever you, when you're creating your products, when you're creating your services, when you think what you can give them at that moment. It doesn't mean that you're going to have those products and those services forever. That's why this changes all the time. It can change. Your goals can be changed every day, every week, every month. But be sure that you always give them the best experience. Why? Because trust takes a long time to build and just a second to destroy. So really think about that. And now I want to share with you some benefits of a brand with purpose. First of all, it's scalable. Why? Because like I said before, when you have like this uh, solid structure and this solid ground, you can share it with your team in a way that's easy for them to understand and to connect with. And you don't have to be there, and you can tell it to as many people as you want, and they are gonna understand how to communicate it to other people, and that way you're gonna be able to scale. Last thing, because the purpose is going to be one. O sea, that's going to be your purpose, and it doesn't matter if the, I don't know, the economy shifts or this product doesn't sell anymore, or you have to change from one platform to the other. It doesn't matter because you do not depend on something physical. You depend on something that's your core, that's your purpose. So that's going to be lasting because it doesn't matter what's what's hot now, what you want to do now. No, o sea, it's you can do anything from now until the end of times, until you find another purpose, until I don't know, until the time that you really want. Then it's adaptable. So you can have different services, different products to for different, so for example, maybe you start with business coaching and then you want to move to mindfulness and then you want to move to, I don't know, giving lectures, but in the end your core is going to be the same. Then it's relatable. People are going to connect with that. Why? Because those are feelings, those are things that fix pain for your ideal client, so people are going to relate to it and it's going to be impactful. You're not going to sell something that's going to be a quick fix. You're not going to sell something to cheat someone just to get easy money. You're going to have a real impact on people because you're going to be connected to them. You're going to in a way feel in owe, like you owe them because they are trusting you and you're being like really vulnerable with your business, and you're going to make sure that you make an impact because that way that's going to give you the satisfaction you want, and that's going to give you the revenue that you want, and that's going to give you the growth that you want. And I want to tell you that you have the power to create something amazing. Don't let yourself get distracted with the new shiny thing, like, okay, there's a lot of money here. Okay, go back to your purpose, go back to your core. Does that make sense for what you want to sell, to what you want to build? If it doesn't, it's not going to give you money. Also, even if a lot of people are making money with it, if it doesn't align with your purpose, if it doesn't align with what you love, it's not going to make you money because you're going to get tired of it. Your people are not your audience is not going to connect with it. So don't try to do everything. Try to do whatever it is that's connected to your purpose and be a part of the brave brands that add value and impact lives. So this is really important because I think now the social impact and the environmental impact and all of these things are really, really important in our brands because we are more conscious, or we should be more conscious about what we put out there. And also for your own benefit, when you are doing something that's making an impact, that has a purpose, it really drives you. I know all of us entrepreneurs have gone through rough times. It is not an easy road to take, but when you see the impact that you're having, when you have your client come to you and say, oh my god, this really changed my life, or you see them close their first sale, or you see that with your product they achieve something that they were trying to achieve a long time, that's what gives you fuel, or at least me. And I know that all of you, if you are part of Titanology, it is like that for you too. Money is good. Obviously, we all want a good business. Money is necessary to grow our business, and it's really good. Also, I love money. I love making money. But when that doesn't come accompanied with something deeper, with a connection, with a deeper purpose, then it's just money. It's just a tool. It's not gonna give you that satisfaction. It's not gonna money alone. It's not gonna be enough when you want to drop the towel, when you want to say like, I don't want to do this anymore, because you don't really know if that money is coming or not. But what you do know is that, okay, why am I doing this? I am doing this, for example, for the summit that we did for empowering women. Why am I doing this? Because I know that the information that I've curated, that all of the things that we've been doing is going to help someone, is going to help a woman take a step forward to the life that she dreams. And that was enough for me, because even if one woman took that step, for me was going to be enough, and that was going to be a success anyway. I wasn't measuring on something like money because that wasn't really on my power. Why? Because I can create something amazing. I can create the best brand I can create, but maybe it's not going to connect with the person on the first try or the second or the third. Maybe it's going to connect with them in a year. So if I wait a year to have that money and then say that that's when I was successful, then it's going to be a really long, really crappy road. But when I measure it with the impact and the purpose, and even if one person hears me, that's going to be enough, then that's going to be easier to continue and continue until I get to where I want. And then when I get to where I thought I wanted to, I'm going to have another goal. So this is going to help us keep going. So I really want to thank you. I hope this helped you, and this helps you in your brand, in your branding process, to find out what your purpose is. And I hope you understood the importance of this prior to any of the other branding elements that we will talk about in future sessions. And if you have any questions, if you want to ask me about anything, here you have my Instagram, alex.design. There, I have a lot of my work. I have some tips. I have some tutorials, and I am available there anytime you need to talk. If you want a consultation, if you want to work on your brand, if you want to find your brand's purpose, you can find me in Titanology here in my Instagram, anywhere. And thank you so much for staying here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex, for this presentation and for the value, because I think, as I commented as well, there's not enough business owners that are really going that deep. And I must admit that when I started out with technology, I was also one of them that thought like, okay, just let's put a logo on it and that's enough. But it has to be more than just a logo. It has to be more than just a great idea. It has to connect with what you want to achieve as an impact. And I think when we started to work together to rebrand technology, it made so much sense to go through this process to figure out what is the purpose and who do we do this for. And I think since then, we really were able to pinpoint and to relate much easier to our ideal audience. So it is super important that people think about this, that they spend time with this. And if they don't know how to do it, of course, they have to go to you. But I think, again, it's really, really, really important. So, yeah, I don't know why I think, I don't know how you see it, but I think branding is still being perceived as too much like, okay, just a logo and some colors and it's done, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean it's normal because that's what people, we go for something that we can see and we can
Yeah,
touch, and and obviously you want your brand right now, and you're like, okay, I'll have a logo, I have this, because we are so rushed. But and it does help in the beginning, maybe when you to create like an MVP and to see if it works a little bit.
yeah,
But when you are serious, and because obviously this is an investment, and not a lot of businesses can do this, but there's a lot of designers who are just starting out, who have the basics, who have the, maybe they don't have much experience, but they have the knowledge, so always look for someone who you connect with. But I think, or you can do it yourself,
hmm,
like with this golden circle, you can go deep, you can see. Obviously it's better when you do it with someone who can guide you, but
yeah,
you can have the tools, if you don't have the budget to invest right now and all of that. But that's what's gonna make it impactful. And I mean, you remember when we started working, it also allows the designer to connect
yeah,
with the client, and I learned about you, I learned all about your business, but you also learned about your business, even if you
yeah,
had
yeah,
been
yeah,
doing it for a long time. So that's what I love about this process, that it's a learning. Like, you fall more in love with what you're doing, because you're like, you find out that what you're doing does make sense,
yeah,
it is what you want to do, so it makes you more passionate about it. So that's what I really really like, and it's a process of working together. It's not like I'm the designer, you don't say anything. No, because like you know your brand in a way that I don't, and I just want to be able to understand it and communicate it the way that you see it, but also that your clients are gonna connect with it. So
Hmm.
it's like a mixture of that, and that's why I really think it's important and to do it, because obviously a logo is important, like the color palette is important, but if it's just a logo, then it's not gonna really help you. It's like what I say with logos of Canva.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously they're beautiful because they were done by a really talented designer. But if you do it for your business, there's a possibility that a million people have done it for their business,
Yeah.
and that's just not going to help. O sea, that's not going to help you really make an impact, because it's going to be similar to something else, and it loses. It's just something decorative. If you want a pretty logo, okay, I can do a pretty logo for you, and you can hang it on your wall, and you
Mm.
can look at it all the time. But if you want to help your business with all of these visual elements, one of them by itself, it's not going to make your brand. O sea, a logo, it's not going to make your brand. A typography is not going to make your brand.
Hmm.
Nothing is going to make your brand, but everything together, and how it works together and how it communicates.
Yeah. Yeah. I truly believe that as well. It is so, so important. So, again, thank you, Alex, for this session, for your experience, for your value. And yes, we are going to do another session for sure in the future where we go more into the depth of building out a brand. If anybody that is seeing this has any questions for either Alex or us, you can always put it in the comments. You can always reach out to Alex through Instagram, or you can go to alanproudbusinesshub.com and you can sign up for a 7-day free trial. And in the Alan Proud Business Hub, of course, there is Alex as well, but you can also ask him questions. And many, many, many more other Titan Masters are there. So we would love to have you in there as well. For now, I thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And we will see each other very soon again. Thank you. Happy Pride, everybody. And let's
Happy
see
Pride.
in a few weeks. Bye bye.
Bye.